Hi, Jason. Nice to see you again.
David, always good to be with you. Thank you very much for making time.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, I guess today I just wanted to talk with you about, the law industry and careers, and what people can do. I mean, we're in January right now, or probably halfway through January. It's racing away on us. And I guess there's folks out there now who might be contemplating a change, might be looking at their career, might be starting out, might be at the end of their career. I mean, I guess I wanted to get, I mean, you're one of Australia's top recruiters in that sort of the industry. And I wanted to understand, I guess, from your perspective, what people should be thinking about, what they should be looking at, what kind of skills they need, technical, soft skills, those kind of things. What can they do to actually really enhance their position and really get the most out of
2022.
2022. Thank you.
I know, it's going quickly, hey?
Gosh, I tell you what, it's just whizzing by it.
I hear you. So look, it really depends where somebody wants to go. So New Year's always a good time to reflect and to think about maybe some fresh changes and what you want to do. So, for example, if I was a baby lawyer and I was to work out what skills I'd want to be good, I think that the things that were probably undersold when you're going through uni, big emphasis on the black letter law and understanding that. But I think the two skills that are underestimated that were going to come into value are business development / networking, being able to schmooze, being able to network effectively, being able to understand the nuances of social media. And I think, it's no secret the most successful partners in law firms aren't necessarily the best black letter lawyers, but they're the ones who are able to build a client base and network effectively. The second thing I think, and this is right up your alley, is understanding of innovation and technology. I think the way we practice law is evolving very rapidly. One only has to look at the growth of ALTA and various areas within law tech, for example, smart contracts, the role that artificial intelligence is going to play. And I would say, understanding the basics of coding and some of those soft skills, I think, will make lawyers, I think, particularly valuable, understanding growth areas like cybersecurity, like crypto, like the blockchain. All these things are really important going forward. And I think there's, if you can capture that niche and understand it, you position yourself very well going forward.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, I guess from point of view, if you were going to develop your soft skills, how would you do that?
Yeah, so I think there are various areas that do help you with this. So I'm lucky enough that I've been doing the Masters of Legal Business Management through the College of Law, and there have been some great units there. And, I've done one on innovation, one on strategy, one on legal tech, one on human resources and the workforce of the future. So courses like that, you could do shorter ones, CPD courses. There are a whole range of private providers. And with the internet, gosh, you just need to go on Udemy or even on YouTube and you can find instructional videos. I mean, it's like the old days of the Dale Carnegie gone crazy. There's a lot of ways you can learn online, and there's no shortage of great books to teach you how to develop these soft skills, particularly, I think, the art of listening and communicating.
Yeah, do you think, how important do you think mentors are in terms of a person's career?
I think they're fundamental. And I think the old way of learning was a junior lawyer would start and get trained up on the job by a partner and a senior associate. One of the negative effects of COVID, besides all the obviously health implications, is the fact that, a lot of lawyers, when they're joining firms, aren't getting that onboarding, and particularly junior lawyers aren't getting that on-the-job training. I mean, I remember I learned a lot just by standing by the water cooler or overhearing conversations by osmosis or, weekly meetings. You just learn a lot from being around. And if you're sitting at your kitchen table, you are definitely missing out on some of that learning on the job.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. I mean, I started life in an accounting firm, and basically, the receptionist taught me life skills, invaluable life skills about, I'm going to go and get the mail every day and that sort of stuff, which probably shows the age. But they are skills that are really important. I think that the sense of collaboration, community, I just don't think Zoom drinks cut it, to be honest. And Zoom quizzes and Zoom drinks and all that kind of stuff cut it. It really doesn't build that.
It doesn't necessarily develop the same camaraderie as being able to press the flesh and go out and have it. I mean, I got to say, I do a lot of my interviews over coffee, and you don't necessarily get the same connection doing it over a Zoom.
No, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. And from point of view of the technology side of things, I mean, how important, I mean, you mentioned technology before, and actually that was one of the key skills. I mean, how important do you think for the folks that are already well established, building their technology skills?
Yeah, look, I think that the technology is such a wide area. So I'm not saying that every lawyer should go out and learn how to program Java. That's not going to happen. But I think just having an appreciation of how technology can make the life easier for lawyers.
Mm.
So, for example, we mentioned business development. So there's a product out there that's well known around the legal circles called Nexel, Nexl. It's run by Philip Thurner, and Nexel is basically a CRM that doesn't involve coding or data entry or anything. It just sort of works naturally through your Gmail server or your Outlook. So
Mhm.
products like that, being able to embrace tech, not for tech's sake, but for the ability for lawyers to then be able to interact better with their clients, being able to provide better service. For example, nobody wins doing data entry. I mean, it's not good value for a client at $450 an hour for a lawyer to be filling in gaps. And this is where things like smart contracts are able to add value to the process.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's interesting. Did a lot of reading over the break around metaverse and around crypto and
Yes,
around blockchain and those kind of things. I mean, it really, I mean, understanding and then knowing that your clients are going to be in a business that's going to be totally different from a model now, and understanding that and being able to, transcend the concepts here and understand what's going on. I think that's a really important thing. I
yeah,
mean, it's more than just Facebook, and it's a lot bigger than
exactly,
Facebook.
yeah. And I don't think robots are going to replace lawyers, but what they might do is replace some of the drudge work down the lower end of the food chain,
Hmm.
maybe in areas like due diligence or just data entry and that side of things. The other thing is there's this massive growth in the no-code movement. So there are
Mm.
now ways lawyers can say, well, you know what, this has been a problem for me. How do I solve it? And I had a good interview a few weeks ago I did with Stuart Clout from Ansarada,
Oh, yeah.
who founded the Dockyard. And he was
Yeah.
saying that basically the inspiration for his business came from being a lawyer and just finding it very frustrating that there wasn't anything out there that could do what he needed in terms of getting deals done. So, with a little bit of help from a more techie person, he was able to build what's now one of the most successful legal tech businesses.
And if somebody is, I guess, considering a change in their career, I mean, how do they do it? How do they? What should they do? What sort of steps should they go through?
Yeah. So for me, I think it's a really an important thing that you don't go from the frying pan to the fire. I think you really need to think
Mm.
long and hard about what it is, and if you can, get some exposure. So if you want to be a florist, whatever it is, I'm not a judge, not judging. Go spend a day in a florist. If you want to be a legal techie, go spend a day in a legal tech firm. But find out what it is. You know, a lot of people have perceptions. So I got to say, when I was a student at school, I was attracted to law, but my law concept of law was based on watching. In my day, it was LA Law or Ally McBeal.
Yeah.
And more recently, it's probably things like Suits.
Yeah.
So that's not what law's about. So really spend a day or as long as you can in that environment to work out that is what you want, and then reverse engineer of how you can get it. A lot of times you may need to have some transitional qualifications. A lot of times because you've got a law degree, it opens up a lot of doors for you. And, I'm running separately a series of conversations with people who've used law as a stepping stone to other things. And that's how I was interviewing Stuart. And I also interviewed a legal academic from UTS, Dr. Laurie Berg, on how she used her law degree to then become a law lecturer.
Hmm. Very interesting. I mean, you look at, I guess, how they've used law degrees and where it can take them. I mean, some pretty incredible possibilities. I mean, the number of different possibilities they can get into these days are far greater than they ever were before.
Yeah, and if you look at the list of CEOs and board directors, it's no surprise a lot of them have an LLB or a JD after their name. I mean,
Mm.
it's a good degree to teaches you great skills like critical thinking, analysis, communication. There are a whole range of things, and there are a lot of very successful ex-lawyers in the business world.
So if I'm actually a 3 to 6-year experienced lawyer, and I think to myself, look, I'm really jack of where I am right now, and I want to move. And I think to myself, well, look, I'll just have a bit of a hunt around LinkedIn and sort of see what's going there. Why would they go to a recruiter versus using something like LinkedIn or using a network?
Yeah, so there are various pros and cons to each thing. So as you know, because you're in this world as well, recruiters provide a free service. So we don't charge the candidate ever. And what we do is provide value in terms of understanding the market. Now, I reckon a lot of the people I speak to, I will never actually place them in a job, but I will always give them honest advice. For example, we don't do much in the graduate sector, and we really don't do much in transition. So a client who wants a 5-year commercial litigator isn't going to pay me to find them a 5-year family lawyer who now wants to be a litigator. Yeah. So we don't really do much, but we do spend a lot of time with these people, giving them hints. And one of the main things is to network, get to find out who are the people that you might want to work with, work out what are your transitional skills and what are the common points. I mean, obviously, if you've litigated in the family arena, there's a lot of skills that would be useful in dealing in a commercial litigation environment. You understand process, you understand clients, you understand timesheets, you understand the nuances of running a legal desk.
So I guess what you could do is help people show their best selves.
Very much so. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, no, excellent. So over the next 6-12 months, what advice would you give people that are actually that are in a legal career right now? What things should they be looking at? What things should we be looking at?
Despite the fact I'm a recruiter, I'm mostly a human being. So I'd love to get your CVs, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't go looking for the grass that might be greener. If you're in a good position, you're happy, stay. It's when you're not happy that a recruiter becomes particularly useful to you. And that may be things like you're just not being appreciated, you're being blocked in your current job, the firm doesn't have the resources you need, you can't see how you're learning anymore, you're in a bit of a plateau, or you're being, not necessarily treated as well, or, the flexibility you previously have is no longer there. So that's when it's a good idea to talk to somebody in the recruitment area who can open up some doors for you. And particularly what we're doing now is we're candidate managing. So that means rather than saying, here's a job, do you fit the job or not? We're getting candidates and we're saying, tell us what your values are, tell us what your needs are. That kind of sounds a bit like it would match with these 3 of my clients. Are you interested in us doing an introduction? So we've re-engineered the recruitment process so we're candidate-centric, and then we open up opportunities that match.
Okay, interesting. I mean, most of Australia's law firms, right?
After 22 years, it's one of the things. Yeah, one of the things we do know, and we know, we hear feedback all the time, so we know where's good to send people, and we won't work for the people where there's been issues. For example, high turnover, shouty bosses, issues of mismanagement or anything like that. We make sure that we put any candidate that comes to us in a place where we'd be happy to work ourselves.
Brilliant. Well, Jason, thank you so much again for your time today. Really appreciate it. And I think that our readership will actually really value your perspectives.
Always a pleasure, David. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Cheers.